was like The Exorcist, you know, that scene where the girl was like Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're new. I'm Bethany, for those who don't know. Now, I felt like I haven't done Now, I feel like I haven't done a really good like self-care day in a really long time. It's been weeks. My skin is quite irritated at the moment. It's been like that for a while. I guess just due to a lot of stress that I've been dealing with. I have very acne prone skin, so my skin is just all over the place, like just from like the smallest thing possible can like activate it. So I decided that it would be good to do a little self-care, a little skincare, just to make me feel better, hopefully make my skin feel better. But I also haven't done a story time in a really long time. And this story is honestly probably one of my funniest stories from college. As you can see by the title, it's about the time an edible sent me to the hospital. So let's get right into it. Do I look scary or what? Ah! There's gold everywhere. All right, so we have the mask on. I have to leave it on for 20 minutes. So let's get into the story. Okay, so this story dates back to my freshman year of college, which was 6 years ago? 6 years? Oh my God, I'm old. It was the day before our second semester started. My roommate in college and one of our friends decided that we wanted to take an edible the day. Oh, I like remember so much of the details from the story because this was such a scarring event that like I literally had like PTSD taking edibles for like years after. So it was the day before our second semester started, freshman year, and my roommate and our friend decided that we wanted to get some edibles. We knew someone who was selling. I honestly don't know measurements of edibles, but like the brownie, we got brownies, but the brownies definitely had like a high percentage in it, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what a high percentage is. Like I'm like the least educated about weed, honestly. Like me and weed don't have a good relationship, and it was proven time and time again because I definitely have a lot more stories that I can share with you guys about my failed attempts of ingesting, smoking, or anything of weed. Like me, like I don't really smoke like that. I don't smoke like that now, like at all, because I'm just so scarred from the experiences I've had. So yeah, so they decided that they were going to split an edible, and since it was the three of us, I ended up getting a whole one for myself. Bad idea right there off the rip. So this was my first time ever trying an edible, like never had one before. I was naive, I was stupid, I just stupid. So they took half an edible and then I took half of my edible. But then I think I was sitting there for like 20 minutes and I didn't feel anything. So my dumbass decided to eat the other half of the edible. And then they like looked at me and they were like, Bethany, did you just eat the other half? And I was like, yeah, what? What's wrong with it? And I honestly don't really remember what they said, but pretty sure they were like, this bitch is crazy. And looking back at it, that was crazy. Like, Lord. We're just hanging out, and then I feel like out of nowhere, it just like hit me. I mean, that's basically how any edible is, but like, it was like I was, whew, I was off it. It started off with like basically me changing my breathing from automatic to manual. Like I felt like I had to tell myself, I just have to keep telling myself to breathe. I was like, okay, Bethany, in and out, in and out, in and out. It was just like, I really felt like I just couldn't breathe like on my own. Like I had to constantly remind myself to breathe and like swallow my saliva. Like I felt like my saliva like just kept pulling up in my mouth. And I had to like just be like, okay, in, out, swallow, in, out, swallow. So I was like, all right, Bethany, you know what? You're just gonna have to sleep this off. That's it. Just lay down, try to go to sleep. So I did just that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to go to sleep. So I like lay down, you know, put my head on the pillow, and I just like, okay, Bethany, you're fine, go to sleep. You're fine, go to sleep. So that lasted for probably about 10 minutes, like probably not even. And at the time I had my web pierced. And for those who don't know, the web is like that little part under your tongue. So I had that pierced. And as I was laying down, I felt like my web was getting ripped out. And so I sort of, so like the paranoia like really set in at that point. And I was like, oh my god, like my web is getting ripped out. I'm gonna swallow this in my sleep. I'm gonna choke and die. So like out of nowhere, I just like chopped back up and I just like started sitting on the side of my bed. And my bed was pretty high at the point, so I'm like hanging there with like my feet hanging off the bed, and I'm like and then my roommate and my friends are like, Bethany, like, are you okay? Like, they were really concerned. They were like talking back about it. They were like, Bethany, you like really looked possessed at that moment. And I was like, honestly, I probably was. So I'm like sitting there like trying to breathe, trying to collect my thoughts, and then I'm like, guys, I really don't feel good. Like I just kept saying that over and over again. I was like, I really don't feel good. Like I really don't feel good. And I'm like trying to breathe still. And then I started getting really hot. I was like, guys, I really don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I'm like rocking back and forth, like, like I don't feel good, guys. And usually when that starts happening to me, I'm able to talk myself out. I was like, I'm able to talk myself down. I'm able to talk like Bethany, you're fine, you're just hot. Like I'm usually like, I'm really good at that. But no, it was just like too much in my system for me to handle. Like it was like literally taking like control of my body. Like I didn't know what else to do. So then out of nowhere, like I just started throwing up everywhere. Like it was like The Exorcist, you know, that scene where the girl was like, that's literally what it was for me. It was disgusting. Like it's not even like I was able to like move to a certain spot. Like I was just like bleh, just there, like down my shirt. On this really cute rug I had like this light blue shag rug that matched, like I felt like brought everything together in my room. But anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, I threw up all over the rug, and I'm like I'm like just throwing up and throwing up. And I really like, I'm like, I don't feel good, guys. Like I don't feel good. I think I probably started crying at one point. Like that's how like just gross I felt, and like I just had no control over my body, and I just didn't know what to do. So them being high off their ass as well, they were like, oh my gosh, we don't know what to do. So they like ran, I guess, to get the RA on duty, because I guess I couldn't find RA, or she just, I don't know. I honestly don't, like, what really was happening was such a blur. I just can only focus on how like disgusting I felt and like the immediate scenes that like was going on around me. So they come back, and they come back with like the RA from the hall, like that's attached to ours. So like it was like Cayuga and Adirondack. So they get the RA that was in Adirondack, and they run over, and I'm pretty sure he was in his boxes, if I'm not mistaken. Like, but he like comes in, and he like sees me, and he's like, like in panic. Like he didn't know what to do. So they ended up calling 5 Quad, which was the like emergency people that comes with our school. And they ended up coming and getting me out and like taking me out on a stretcher. And like this whole moment was like such a blur because I feel like everything went so fast but like so slow at the same time. So pretty sure they're like asking me questions and I'm pretty sure I'm just saying like I don't feel good, I don't feel good. Like I didn't really know what else to say. They didn't come to the hospital with me, those bitches. So I was there by myself. So whatever, they escort me, they take me onto the ambulance. I remember like vividly this one girl trying to take my blood pressure, and like I guess it was like the paranoia and everything. I was like I'm like, in my mind I had said, I was like, if she takes my blood pressure, like I'm going to die. Like that's pretty much like, I'm pretty sure what I thought of like the whole entire time. Like I'm going to die, like I'm going to die because of an edible, like this is going to be the end of me. So I'm just like, no, you can't take my blood pressure. I'm like, you can't do it. So like she ended up like giving up, and I ended up in the emergency room, ironically, in the hospital that I recently worked at. I knew I would be working there 6 years later, but that's besides the point. So I ended up in the emergency room. I'm pretty sure they gave me IDs because I was dehydrated because I was throwing up so much. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I just like slept it off. That's it. And I was just in the emergency room, like in and out of sleep. Like they took blood tests and all that fun stuff that they do when you're in the emergency room to make sure that nothing's actually wrong with you. But we all knew like it was just too much in my system that I can handle. So yeah, I had literally nothing with me. I didn't have any form of ID. I didn't have like my regular ID, my college ID, didn't have my wallet on me, didn't have my insurance card on me. I didn't have nothing, nada, zip, just nothing. I don't even think I had my cell phone on me at the time. Like I literally had nothing on me and no money. So I remember just like waking up to the morning and it was time for me to go home. They gave me a voucher. I was like, I had no idea where I was. They gave me a voucher to get home. They called a cab for me, got in the cab, got to my room. Had to be like 6-7 o'clock in the morning. It's the first day of classes and I like walked in the door. I'm still exhausted because of like everything that I just put my body through, and my roommate and my friend are sitting on the floor and they were like, yeah, we were just so high that we just couldn't like sleep in the bed. I'm pretty sure they threw out the rug. Like the rug was gone. It was in the garbage. There was no saving it. I'm pretty sure they took out, I think they threw out like my bedding and everything, which I don't blame them. I would have done the same thing because there was just no saving it. But yeah, that's how an edible sent me to the hospital. I'm telling you, like I was so scarred from that experience that I didn't take an edible. I don't eat edibles because like I don't really smoke anyway. Like I don't smoke because like I said before, me and weed just don't have a good relationship. Like we never did. And I tried time and time again. I was like, I want it to, like, everyone talks about how great it is and it like relaxes them. And I did have that experience a couple of, like I did have times where like did feel good, like my high was a good high, but there was also times where I just was bad, but I was able to talk myself out of it. I remember I went home for a break at one point. And my mom was like, yeah, so I got this bill in the mail and it was for $900. And I was like, what? $900? I don't know what that could be from. I was like, maybe it was that time that I went to the doctor because I had to get a checkup. I like had to run some tests. She was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like I already sent it to the insurance. It's all set. And I was like, oh, that's great. Wonderful. So I'm like, whew, I'm off the hook for that. And then me, my mom, and my sister, we ended up going to Salem like 2 years ago. And we were at the dispensary, because it's legal in Massachusetts. And we got some chocolates and stuff. And they were very low, like low percentage. And I'm pretty sure we were driving to it. And I like came clean to my mom. I was like, yeah, you remember that time you got like that $900 bill? I was like, yeah, I ended up in the hospital that time. And she was like, Bethany! I was like, what? But yeah, that was my experience of eating an edible and how it sent me to the hospital. So, hope you guys enjoyed that story. I hope you guys learned from my mistake. Don't do drugs. Stay safe out there. Like this video if you thought it was funny. Comment if you had any similar experiences, or if you want to hear any stories like that. My Keem actually had a very similar story himself. We'll see if he wants to come on another time and tell his story about how he ended up in the hospital. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Follow me on my socials. There'll be a link down below, also in the intro. So yeah, see you guys later. Bye.